This is the Great Alaska Hunting Podcast. I'm Dalton Gray.
And I'm Ryan Humphreys.
Broadcasting from our hometown of Fairbanks, Alaska. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Great Alaska Hunting Podcast, everybody. Grab yourself a nice, cool drink of tea or lemonade on this hot July day.
Or both.
Or a little bit of liquid death. Flavor we're working with tonight is Dead Billionaire.
It's the poor man's Arnold Palmer.
Tea, lemonade, and B vitamins. Nutritious.
Yeah, a little bit. 68 milligrams of natural caffeine. Better than the unnatural stuff. You know what I mean?
That is a nice little cold snack.
Isn't it?
Well, as promised in the last episode, we are going to finish off our little chitter-chatter about the end of spring bear season for us.
The spring bear saga? Of 26?
Yes. Spring bear 26. The highest of highs and the lowest of lows, which is an original saying I made up myself.
Sure you did, yeah.
Well, before we get into that, I want to just let the folks know, if you watched the last episode of our podcast on YouTube, where some of you will be watching right now, the version that is on YouTube has an echo in the video. Sorry about that. There was some issues with the audio. We were not recording in a
studio environment? A
sound dampening environment, much like we have here, surrounded by the skins of
dead things,
long since dead animals. So there was some echo in the pod, and we were able to reconcile the issue on Spotify and Apple. I know on Spotify it's relatively easy to clear your cache. So if you're like me and you are a podcast connoisseur, if you will, I have things that I'm subscribed to, or in this case, I follow. You follow a podcast on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, whatever you want to call it. And whenever a new episode comes out and you click on it to listen to it, you get the first released version of the audio line. So in order to get the updated version of it, you have to clear your cache, which means on an Apple, you have to actually... Ready for this? Delete the app.
No, there's another way to do it.
And then re-download it. I looked it up.
There's got to be another way to do it.
I thought there was.
I don't know. It is Apple.
But the good news is it restored all of my other podcasts and everything as normal. I was still following all the same shows.
Well, yeah, it's an account. Yeah.
But it did delete all my downloaded podcasts, which didn't bother me because I had an insane amount of podcasts downloaded I didn't realize. So... that's how you clear your cache on Apple if you want to just listen to the audio of the Alpine Creek podcast episode. And then for Spotify, I believe the process is much easier. You don't actually have to do all that.
No, you can just go to settings and hit clear cache.
Right.
Like a normal person.
If you want to hear the updated, polished version of that podcast where there's not a double version echo throughout the entire episode.
So at some point, it will automatically update. It will. Yeah. Okay. Once Apple sees there's a new file, like it will automatically.
I just felt bad because, Alpine Creek reshared the podcast episode and there was a bunch of people that went and listened to it and they liked it, but then there were some that went and watched the YouTube video and we even got a comment on the YouTube video.
That the audio was
bummer, but the audio is horrible. So I commented on that video. Hopefully that redirected enough people and went to just listen to the audio version on Apple or Spotify. So we apologize for the audio issues.
It's easy to change Apple and Spotify, not YouTube.
Yeah. So anyway, we enjoyed sitting down with Claude and Bob, had a good time with them, just talking shop and all things Alpine Creek Lodge and the backstory. I mean, and I still had a lot of people, message us and, some people that we know that we've bumped into since then that said that they really liked that episode, even with the echo. Some of our audience that only knows how to listen to podcasts on YouTube.
Yeah, we have some hardcore listeners on YouTube.
Yeah. And for those of you that are watching this episode on YouTube, you can see our new decor. The John Wayne Hondo poster is a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that one's just double-sided tape on the wall, so we'll see how long that lasts. That poster I've had since I was a little kid. Somehow it survived a move all the way from Fiji back to here, and I ended up with it, so it's up. And these other three here are donations from one of the podcast listeners, whose name will be Bubba.
Yeah.
Apparently. He said, well, if you don't want to say my name on the podcast, I guess I understand that's a privacy thing, and, I guess I don't really want my name out there either. And he said, but you can just call me Bubba on there. I'll know who you're talking about. So thank you, Bubba. And for those of you that can't see it, it's a Lester's ammunition poster on the right side wall, on the left end. America's cheapest ammunition. In the bottom, it says in quotation marks, it usually works, as there's a photograph of a grizzly bear standing on a cliff trail with what seems to be some kind of a lever action, I'm assuming a 30-30, and floating just off the edge of the cliff is a cowboy hat, and the bear is clutching in its jaws a raggedy piece of a red plaid shirt. So he was a good hunter. Lever action, iron sights, cowboy hat, red plaid shirt.
Shooting Lesters.
This guy was a killer right up into the end. And then in the middle, we have the classic Winchester running horseback cowboy photo, clutching a Winchester repeating rifle in his arm because he can't afford a gun scabbard, apparently. Just realized that makes us look poor. And then on the right, we have a Colt revolvers poster. Classic Colt poster. So, added some to the shop. Got a little more of a, I like how you described it, a little more of an oldies diner look to it now.
Yeah.
So now all we're missing is the neon milkshake sign.
Yeah, and
that buzzes in the background.
And the sign that says, drink coffee, do stupid things faster, and with more energy.
Yeah. We actually should get like an old price list from an old diner and put it up in the corner there, like milkshakes 10 cents back in the good old days.
Yeah.
Gas 5 cents.
Oof.
Although it has come down a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not quite enough. We're still over 4, but we're headed the right direction.
I don't know if I've quite seen it under 4. It's been close, though.
Yeah, it's been close.
I mean, diesel's under 5, so.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
I think gas is $4.19 right now still.
On our drive back from said Alpine Creek Lodge area.
Did you stop and get gas anywhere?
No.
I mean diesel.
No, I'd stopped on the way down in Cantwell. But from our campsite there at the Susitna to Fairbanks, I had pretty good time, if you noticed.
Yes, you did. I had
also
about 40 minutes ahead of you, and you passed me in Nenana.
Yeah, and then you tried to catch up, and you didn't.
I just was trying to keep pace.
Yeah, and then you didn't.
I passed all those cars at an undisclosed speed. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
That was sport mode
in
action.
I got 22 miles a gallon until I hit the hills.
Really?
Driving at an average of a speed that I
be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful. With your family in the truck, nonetheless.
We did not stop to pee.
I can't believe you didn't stop to pee the whole way.
I
thought for sure.
It's only like 3 hours. Not exactly, a little more, but
Oh man.
It was
my wife and I were talking about that, like, oh yeah, he's probably gonna take a while, the kids are gonna have to get out, go to the bathroom, stop at all the gas stations. But no, then you came I felt the earth shaking underneath the truck as I was going through Anderson, and I thought, is that Mo back there? Yep.
It was a little ways past Anderson that I passed.
Yeah, it was. But I saw the flashing lights just like on the Autobahn, how they flash their lights to let you know they're ripping around you.
Yeah.
By George, you did. That you did. So, we better finish up bear season so we can move on to other topics.
Correct, yes.
We do have other things. For the listeners who are maybe weary of hearing about spring bear hunting, well, we're just finally moving past it. It is now the middle of July.
Already.
Summer has gone by like a blur. My woodshed is only 40% full, so I'm still...
You've got a woodshed?
Mm-hmm.
A good old-fashioned woodshed.
I don't have any kids yet, so it's not really old-fashioned yet. But, you know, for those of you that get that reference, Make America Great Again.
Real nice one.
Yep. But, summer's going by fast, but we do enjoy spring bear baiting. And,
yes, we do.
If you have kept up with the YouTube channel, Mo did release a video on their kind of a vlogger style is what we've been doing thus far, and probably will continue to do that kind of style. And he kind of recaps his baits that he was running and the end thereof.
Yeah, my solo adventures.
Right. So this podcast is basically a summary story of what happened after that. Because you then came out with me after you were done with your bear baits.
And in between.
Right. And in between, because you and I set up a brand new spot the week prior. And a week later, you had closed out your baits, minimal to no action at one of them, but a big one strolled through, which is, again, hopeful for the future. And it's hard to stay out of that spot when you have bears of that caliber coming in. Even if they only come in once a year.
At least 6.5 foot on that thing,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, I agree.
I keep looking at those pictures.
That's just a big black bear.
It was a monster.
Yep, that's a very big black
bear. Or,
bear.
as I said in the video, a hog of a black bear.
I was going to say, I know that you used a term, and I can't remember what it was.
It's a hog of a black bear.
It's a hog. I think you even squinted your eyes when you said it.
I might have.
It's a hog.
I finally had a bear hit, man.
Yeah, well, it was a big black bear.
Yeah, and it was a big black bear.
Bigger than the one that, spoiler alert, you ended up shooting.
Yes.
At one of our other baits.
Which was not a bad bear either. It was a nice bear.
Yeah. Bigger than the ones that we were passing at the other bait. So you and I went out the week prior to that and checked one of our other baits, decided that we didn't want to shoot the black bears that were coming in and laying down in front of us, and we kind of almost felt bad for them. They were a solid 410 to 5'2", I would say, for black bears measurements. Which, there are people that will argue back and forth about what's an average black bear in the interior of Alaska. In our experience in that area, a 5-footer ain't it.
No. Well,
5.5.
5.5 is kind of what
kind of the median
for most of interior.
Yeah,
I would say
5.5 foot is an adult.
Yeah.
It's not a giant.
Yeah,
it's not going to be. Boy, I mean, how old is a 5.5 footer even going to be? What,
I don't know.
5 years old?
It depends. Some of them don't get that big.
Sure. But, which, case in point, one of the bears in particular that I've had coming to that bait for a few years now continues to just stay the same size. It's almost a dwarf bear. It's quite strange. But that bait, you and I decided not to shoot the black bears that came in that night. And then...
Despite the multiple
many
opportunities.
Oh, my goodness.
So.
I mean, laid there for 45 minutes at least.
Could have shot it 6 different ways.
Walked up underneath the tree stand, scratch its back, walk back to the bait, lay down, sit up, turn broadside, smile at you, take a picture, swat some mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Anyway, decided not to shoot that black bear or the next one. And then a grizzly bear came in and played cat and mouse with you. Tugged at your heartstrings.
It did.
You were primed and ready to shoot, and it just never gave you a shot.
No, it was sad.
Came in and snagged some bait, and that was that.
Yeah.
Never stuck around long enough for a shot.
You've heard of jumping the string. Try jumping the draw.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that grizzly bear knew exactly where we were.
Yep.
Knew we were there, obviously could smell us, and was very switched on to our presence. So, and that happens with grizzly bears. And that's pretty typical.
This whole bit we're telling will be on film on YouTube in the coming weeks, whenever I have time to actually edit it.
Right. So that concluded that night. The following day, you and I slept in quite a bit. We didn't even leave the stand, I don't think, until probably 4 or 5 o'clock.
I think it was like 5 a.m.
Yeah. Might have been 5:30 or 6, but it was around the 5 a.m. time frame, which is pretty normal if you don't shoot something, especially at that bait. They're hitting at all times of the night. They're just coming in because it's cool out. They have some shade, and during the day they're just going to go out and sleep. And they might make a few pit stops during the day, but they're not usually there very long during the daytime. So anyway, the following day, you and I went and checked out another spot that my wife and I had looked at the previous week. I had stomped around, walked like a mile and a half up and down this drainage looking for a spot, knowing that there were bears there, but hoping that we could find bigger black bears. And we, my wife and I, walked up and down, just some moose trails and some bear trails along a creek, and sure enough, found a fresh pile of black bear scat. And I said, well, there's something around. Let's see if we can put a bait in here next week and see how big it is, and see if we get lucky and have it come in within a week of the end of the season, which you and I did the day after that grizzly bear came in and stoned us. And you and I set out a new bait, went back. I think you and I left. No, we sat another day. Or did we?
I think we left.
You're right.
Yeah.
We did leave. No, you know what? We set up that bait and then went and sat the other one, and then we left because we had somewhere to be the next day. Because then the next day, I brought my wife out.
Oh, that's right. I
forgot about that.
Yep.
So chronology. My wife and I sat. We had the same two black bears showed up, both dinks, 5-footers. Not enough meat on them to make it worth getting the grinder dirty to process them. I mean, realistically, that's how we were looking at black bears this year.
Yeah, it was
how much meat's on this
we
bear.
both sat there and debated for 45 minutes whether or not one of us wanted to shoot the bear. Well, it'd get us. We could go to bed.
yeah, we could be done sitting for the night.
Yeah, we could be done sitting. We'd at least have something in the freezer, and
even if it's only 25 or 30 pounds of ground meat.
Yeah, is
it worth it?
I just don't feel like shooting another 5-foot black bear.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of them in the bag.
I didn't either, neither did my wife. And that night, my wife and I only saw the two black bears that came in. We did not see a grizzly bear that night. Fast forward the following week, you came out with me again, and you and I had basically 3 evenings to hunt consecutively. So we went to our traditional bait, sat it, had another grizzly bear come in, crossed the swamp, stuck its nose in the air, got some good video of it as it was like 80 yards away, walking its way around before it cut back into the brush.
Came over close on our trail, and then
nose in the wind, circled downwind of us, like it knew we were there and knew that it wanted to check the wind before it came in. And it looked like it was going to come in.
It did.
It was within 20 yards.
Yeah.
It was on the main bear trail where they all come in, and I could see it through the brush, and it stopped and sniffed the willows where we had walked past and brushed, our pant legs would brush up against the willows there, stuck its nose in the brushes, looked up, nose in the air, turned around in place, and just silently just walked off.
Straight away.
Never made a sound, never blew, never huffed, nothing. No more than 5 minutes later, you jabbed me, said, "There's a bear." And I thought, what? Is a grizzly bear just sneak back in? And it was a black bear.
Just snuck in. Yeah.
Right. And the black bear had snuck in right as the grizzly bear had left, which we almost wondered if the grizzly bear walking past it up in the bushes
woke it up or something.
Might have bumped it out of its bed, and it decided to come in and eat. And again, that was one of the smaller black bears. We had the 2 resident black bears pretty much the whole season this year. So anyway, decided not to shoot that one. And then you and I sat again, I think it was until 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I don't know if we sat quite as late on that one. I don't remember.
Yeah, we might have only sat till I think we left at like 4.
Yeah, so it wasn't quite as late. And it wasn't for as long because we drove.
So sat that night until like 4 o'clock and went to camp and got some good sleep. We've got a good camp spot. It's tough to find a good camp spot when you're bear baiting. in years past, we have always struggled to actually be able to sleep for more than 4 hours straight because you wake up and it's just sweltering hot in the tent.
From the sun.
Because you're trying to sleep during the day so you can sit all night and you're not tired.
You're trying to get off the road far enough.
Right.
So you're not too close to all the people racing by.
Yeah, trying to pull off the highway traffic. And we found a pretty good spot this year. And we were able to get far off and, far enough off the road.
It's not quite as nice as the spot I grew up sleeping with my dad.
No.
On the out-of-town bear bait trips.
That is still the best camp spot.
It is the king.
By far.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different direction.
It is.
We should just go back there. Anyway. Maybe someday.
Maybe, yeah. Next year.
Maybe when gas is cheaper. So, anyway, we actually got to sleep most of the day that day. We woke up, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And you had a first.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. I forgot about that.
I didn't.
Well, I remember it every night when I take my socks off.
Well, don't leave the folks hanging. You better fill them in.
Well, I was sitting in the tent, and we got these you've got these little, 8-inch tall cots.
Yeah.
And I was sitting with my butt on the cot and my legs crossed in front of me.
And this is in the teepee tent, by the way.
In the way that is known as Indian style in the teepee. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I had my jet boil between my feet, and with my legs crossed and jet boil right there.
But your feet were on the floor.
My feet were on the floor.
Yep.
And I had, and we didn't even have the floor in there at that point, did we?
Mm-hmm.
Did we? Yeah. Well, that's right, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Because the water all pooled up on it.
Right. It was the next night you didn't put the floor in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was boiling water, and I'd filled my jet boil up close to the top, trying to boil enough for both a cup of coffee and for whatever I was eating. And some freeze-dried meal, breakfast, something.
Was it a peach cobb?
No, was not.
PC would have been nice.
We'll circle back to the freeze-dried meal topic after this section of the story. Okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
Anyhow, so I'm sitting there and we're talking. I don't know if I had my phone out, if we were talking maps or baits.
I think you were just looking the other direction. I think you were scrounging for something.
And anyhow, so because I had it so full, it started to boil. I didn't notice it right away. And if you've used a jet boil much, you know what happens when you just let it keep boiling, and that is it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, and it boils over.
Especially when you have it already pretty full.
Right, yeah. The more full you have it, the faster it boils over, because the longer... Yeah, anyway. you got the idea. So it boils over. You notice it at the exact same time I do,
mm-hmm.
and you're yelling at me, and it boils over. It hits my feet. I'm up in the air with my feet. It knocks over towards you, mm-hmm. and I'm ripping my socks off because now my socks are full, or have boiling water in them. And anyhow, so I burned my feet.
You burned your feet, but
both
not
of them.
On a George Foreman grill.
That's true.
It could always be worse.
And for the amount of times I have made myself breakfast in bed on a George Foreman grill, I'm just kidding. I've never done that. No, never done that. But anyway, so yeah, I burned my feet, and you 2nd-degree burns, blistered up. So we had a whole lot of bandages with us. I
had a lot of bandages, just
nothing
not a ton of burn cream.
Nothing. Yeah. Well, that's right. You finally found some tribiotic stuff, I think, that I put on there.
It was burn cream.
Yeah, and so I smeared that on there and put my socks on. We didn't have any actual big bandages to cover it.
Yeah.
I guess we could have taped it up with some gauze, but
I had plenty of medical tape, but you didn't want to tape up your entire foot.
Yeah, with a lump of gauze on there, then you're trying to put in a boot, and that would have probably been more uncomfortable.
Right.
When you got a sock.
So it didn't just boil over and hit your feet. It boiled over, and then as you went to crank the knob and turn it off,
oh, that's right.
The whole thing tipped over.
That's right.
And dumped on your feet.
As it was, because it boiled over, and I was trying to turn it off, and
Right, and the whole pot dumped over on your feet, which were sitting either side of the pot.
Yeah, well, it came
in
out
between it.
It came out both sides of the pot evenly onto my feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and so but it only got the outsides of each foot.
I can show the camera.
No. It's not that kind of show. And I don't know that I want to smell that.
No. All right. Well, it's your loss.
Subscribe to the Patreon to see Mariah's feet pics of his boiled dogs.
Right. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good name for the episode.
Boiled dogs.
Yeah.
DAWG.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Boiled dogs. Yeah. Maybe we won't do that. I don't know. We'll think of something.
I like it. I would.
We've been accused of being clickbaity before. Let's do it again.
And it's funny because our clickbait isn't even that much clickbait.
It's not clickbait. It's just what
there's
we
always
find
an element to it, but
it's just what we find funny.
Anyway,
So the pot spilled over, and you immediately, reacted in such a way that, there are certain people that have reactive tendencies to very small things in life. You catching my drift here? The boy who cried wolf type of scenario, right? There are some people where, they smack their thumb with a hammer and they overreact and they walk around shaking their hand for the next 5 minutes.
Never.
And it's like, really, dude, come on. Is your fingernail black? No? All right. Then it wasn't that bad. Get back to work.
Doesn't matter. It might be. Right. It might fall off. Don't act like a woman about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, apparently it's that kind of show now.
Apparently it is. It just came out, so.
He's just being sarcastic.
Yeah, exactly.
But you are not one of those people. You and I have hunted together for a long time.
Yeah.
Normally, our reaction to an injury is like, ooh, that's going to ache later. But then we move on.
Right.
The way that you reacted to the boiling water, my first thought that went through my head was, oh, great, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. Mariah's got to go home. I got to take him to first care. Man. Then I got to come out here and run these by myself, and I got to clean them all out this weekend. And, man, what a bunch of work this is going to be.
Wait for me to ruin the hunt. I know.
Yeah, I was like, man.
I mean, I was kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I'm sure you were. I didn't say it out loud, though. I didn't want to plant the seed of doubt.
Well, I, as you say, we don't usually react.
Yeah.
Unless the reaction is required to mediate a situation, which I explained how I did. Mm-hmm. But those thoughts go through your head. But I have had some fairly substantial things I have had to deal with that I have not stopped a hunt for. It is not. It would take so much to stop.
I watched you take a Havilon blade and carve out an ingrown toenail in the middle of the mountains.
Oh yeah.
With no painkiller. There wasn't no lidocaine involved in this ordeal. You just carved it out, blood's coming out of your big toe, and you just strapped a bandage over it and said, feels so much better.
Feels so much better, dude.
And I'm sitting there watching you going, I don't know that I would do that. Well, that looks like it
gets
hurt.
to being hurting enough while you're walking, and you're willing to put up with a lot to stop it.
See, but I haven't ever had that happen.
That's true.
Knock on wood. So I don't really know. So to me, I just see man, razor blade, foot. Willingly.
Blood.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't been there, haven't done that.
It does hurt. If you're wondering, to carve around the outside of your toenail and cut it off because it's, yeah. It takes a lot more pressure than you think it would take with that Havilon to cut through toenail, by the way.
I don't doubt it. But that's just for reference.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen you go through stuff before and just power through it. So I thought, oh, great. It's over. Mo's got to go to the hospital.
And to be honest, I was kind of thinking the same thing.
And then I thought, well, I'm not going to say anything yet. Let's get some burn cream on it. And the first thing I told you to do, because we had a big bladder of water in the tent,
water on it,
I told you, take that bladder, pop the cap off, and pour a bunch of cold water on your feet.
First thing you learn when you're like 6 years old with first aid, when you get a burn, you pour water on it.
Yeah. Cold water. Immediately, as fast as possible. Run cold water over it. That'll greatly reduce, it'll help a lot with the blistering aspect, or at least it can in some situations if you get to it fast enough, because you have to cool the skin back down. So you did that. I immediately started rifling through my first aid stuff, and I found some burn cream. You eventually put that on there, and you said that was immediate relief. Well, that's the first time that I thought, okay, we're going to make it.
So it was like a patch like that on the sides outside of both of my feet.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we get through that, and then I think we hung out in camp for a little longer than we had planned because of that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to give you enough time to just sit there on your cot and not be up on your feet moving around too much, and just let the initial wave of pain and, throbbing pain, I'm sure, go away. Because I thought, well, if he can make it through the first 2 hours, then he'll probably be able to make it through the next 36
right,
that we have left.
Yeah.
So you did, and you said, after you put the burn cream on there, you said, you know what? I think this is going to be fine. I'll be fine. I'll make this work. And you put some Band-Aids over it just to keep your socks
Did we have some? Oh, that's right. We had some small Band-Aids or something.
Yeah. So you kind of stacked some Band-Aids on there just to keep your sock from directly chafing against the skin, because one of them didn't just blister. It blistered, popped, and then peeled open to new layer of life underneath.
That's one word for it.
Which is tough. That's really tough. So we got through that, and then we decided, all right, tonight, we already know what's on the other bait that we've now been sitting multiple times in a row. We have grizzly bears that are playing hard to get, which is typical. We got lucky with how oblivious they acted last year. We had multiple adult grizzly bears come in while we were sitting there last year. Got to shoot one of them. Could have shot a couple of more. But this year, the turns tabled. And the grizzly bears were not playing nicely. So we decided, well, let's go check the new bait that we set last week, and we'll go see if anything's hit that yet. All we had put at that bait site, for those listening, they haven't seen any video of it yet, but you'll see some video shots from that bait site. It's not a very densely brushed area.
Well, not the area.
It's patchy. It's patchy. There's patches of ground where it's open and you can see 40, 50 yards, some places 80 or 100 yards. And there's other places not more than 30 yards away in one direction where it goes to, you can't see from here to the other side of this room in the willows.
Right.
So there aren't a lot of great tree stand trees, which is what we prefer. We like to have a tree stand, or multiples, in our case of having more than one hunter. And we didn't have that opportunity. And because we had just hustled in there the week prior and set up a brand new bait, all we had brought in was a 5-gallon bucket with some dog food mixed up with some Friar's grease and a beaver carcass that I had, put some trapping wire and wired it to the tree right above the bait site, and a trail camera. And I had, taken my machete and whacked out a few trees that were in the way of a shooting lane, and then you and I kind of went and cleared some leaves out of a little sitting spot next to some
sprayed a bunch of scent.
Yeah, sprayed a bunch of scent everywhere, which the week that we set it up, the scent that we had was Batum 907 caramel spray.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Which is excellent lure. I really like the caramel stuff. And in with that dog food, actually, the little 2-ounce silver bullet looking vial of caramel concentrate.
The additive.
It's a grease additive, right? And I had put that in the grease jug, mixed it around, and then poured that grease in with the dog food. So even the dog food smelled like super strong caramel. And I think that scent carries as good as, if not better than, most of the sweet scents that Beta 907 makes. It's one of the strongest sweet scents. And I hadn't used it last year because I couldn't find any here locally, or I didn't look in the right places, I guess is probably the right term. And I had some leftover stuff from past seasons that I was just trying to get through. This year I actually had to go buy new stuff, which is nice because Screaming Eagle carries Beta 907.
Right.
So I bought all my Beta 907 stuff this year from Screaming Eagle at the archery shop. And anyway, so that's all we had there for a bait site. We didn't have a ground blind. We didn't have any brush piles. We didn't have any camo netting. Didn't even have chairs. Nothing. We were just going to come in, bring in our Crazy Creek folding chairs, sit on the ground, and try to put a couple of little sapling brush trees in front of us that were already there, not do too much to disturb anything. Just get in there quietly, lay all your stuff out for the night, and sit there and it was 20 yards away from the bait, which is usually a little further than we end up sitting. But because we were out in the wide open, we figured, why not? Mm-hmm. And we were slightly uphill from the bait site as well. So anyway, you and I walked in there after you burned your feet. Mm-hmm. Feets?
Dogs.
Foots. Oh, dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs. After you burned your dogs, we walked in there later on that afternoon. I think it was 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that in the afternoon. It was hot. Walked in there with nothing on our backs, but I had my pack frame and a bucket and a shovel, clean up stuff.
Yeah.
Thinking, all right, well, if it hasn't been hit, then I'll just
clean it up. Yeah.
Clean up everything, put it back in the bucket.
And I had my bow in case we saw something walking in. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I didn't even bring my bow because you were up to shoot, and these baits that I've got, I just prefer to bow hunt these. It's just less disturbing, and anyway, situationally,
we'll carry guns for protection, but
I really don't like to shoot.
We
bears
stick them with
gun.
arrows. Yeah.
Right. At my baits, I don't know. In years to come, that'll change. We'll start using guns, but anyway. So we walked in there, and on our walk in, I noticed a brand new pile of scat. And I said, that wasn't there last week. Mm-hmm. And we were within 75 yards of the bait site. We just hadn't gotten to it yet. Yep. And right in our trail, which isn't really a trail, it's just a path through the...
At this point, it's just kind of the easiest place to walk.
Yeah, because it's not very thick. There's a pile of bear scat. And I said, that looks like the same size, same coloration as the pile that I saw like 100 yards that way last week. Wonder if it's the same bear. And size, proportionately, people will argue about it. I suppose there could be some variation depending on the intensity of the bowel movement, but it seems like you can usually tell the size-ish of a bear by the size of the scat.
At least get an idea of its general, is it mature, is it young? Like
Like, how much is here? Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Or, is it skinny? Is it big around?
Yeah.
Realistically. So we walked into the bait, and sure enough, I looked over. Beaver's gone, dog food's gone, and all the ground is tore up all around the bait. And there's scat everywhere. Mm-hmm. So my mind immediately went to, oh, great, grizzly bears. Well, I kind of let my mind get ahead of myself because the ground was all torn up. And like a bunch of dirt was gone where the bait was.
Camera had been messed with.
Camera was messed with, right. So I thought, great, I found grizzly bears.
I found hair on the ground, which I even showed you, and you were so convinced it was a grizzly bear, you said, oh, that looks like grizzly bear hair.
Well, it was brown.
What was the underfur? Look at the underfur on that bear right there. Not that one, but that one. So that one's... Yep. And I saw that and said, oh, I thought that was black bear. Yeah.
You thought it was black bear. I said, The reason I was skeptical is, regionally speaking, I've had too many grizzly bear problems.
I know. I get it.
So I let my mind get ahead of myself before even looking at what was on the SD card.
Yeah.
And I said, it's grizzly bears. Great.
Well, it's that whole setting the expectations for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I expected grizzly bears. I was hoping for black bears, but I expected grizzly bears. Check the SD card. And this was on Friday. That was a Friday, I believe. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on that.
Yes, it was.
So I believe that was a Friday. You and I had set that bait out the previous weekend. And there was a black bear on camera. And he'd showed up Wednesday. So it took him a few days to find it, which is very typical. I have had other baits where within 24 hours, at some points, even within an hour.
Or 3. Yeah, I had one that
was... Or 3 or 6.
3 hours slammed.
Under 24 hours. It's
setting up a brand new bait.
Right. Yeah. Never had bait there before. Don't know of any other baits in the area. And you set up a cold bait site and boom, gets hit within a day. But I don't expect that to happen. Right. You never go in expecting that. So that black bear had found the bait on Wednesday, which I was stoked about, because that meant that he hadn't found it early on, right after we set it up,
right,
cleaned it out, and then got bored and left.
Eating it out in 2 days and left.
Right. So came in on Wednesday and then was there all night Wednesday night, most of the day Thursday.
I'd almost been living. There was piles of scat at the bait everywhere.
Thursday night, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, and then he had messed with the camera.
Yeah.
And the last picture we had on the camera of anything that wasn't blue sky or thunder, hint, the camera was pointed at a very severe upward angle after he had yanked it.
He messed with it multiple times and changed the angle several times.
Yes, he did. At one point, he actually made it good.
Yeah.
Like he pointed it back at himself. But then the last picture I got of a bear was earlier on that day, the previous morning. I guess it would have been Friday at like 3 a.m. And it was a picture of him with the nylon strap that we had wrapped around the tree several times. He had unwound that somehow, or started to unwind it, and then it just kind of coiled out and fell. And he grabbed the end of it, and it was in the side of his teeth, and he was ripping it at a downward angle. And we have a picture of that. So that was the last intel we had. So you and I got in there in the afternoon, and I said, oh, man, this is a decent black bear. Like, we looked at the pictures of it, and I said, that's a shooter. We need to go get our stuff to come in here and sit. There's nothing to clean up. All the bait was gone. So we went back out, came back in with all of our gear. I had my bow. I had my rifle. You had your bow. You were carrying a handgun. I had a handgun. We were all kitted out for war.
As one is.
I had my mini Sour Patch Kids.
You did?
I had my Old Trapper beef sticks.
Yeah.
You had Old Trapper beef sticks. Did you have any Swedish fish this spring at all?
No, I haven't done Swedish fish at the bait for quite a while. They just get stuck in your teeth so much, you know?
What's your point? We got to bring that back.
Well, next year. Next spring.
I have a lot of memories of you and I as teenagers.
Buy the big Costco bag.
In the bear stand. Giant bag, and we just restocked Ziplocs before we went into the baits. Mm-hmm. I got so sick and tired of Swedish fish.
I know you did.
I haven't eaten one in years.
I haven't had one in quite a while.
Yeah, we got to bring those back. Maybe I'll take some sheep hunting this year. Not a very fat, rich food.
Huge bag of Swedish fish in your backpack.
Do a bag dump. And all right, so for food, 12 days, I have 15 pounds of Swedish fish.
This is breakfast.
Anyway, so we got in there early evening. I think it was 5:30, 6 o'clock.
I think we sat down at 6.
I believe you're right.
After we'd gone back out, packed,
Yep.
kitted up, gone back in.
Applied more bug dope.
Yeah, yes. Gone back in, full tactical style. Mm-hmm. Sat down.
Yep. Expecting the black bear to show back up within...
Potentially because it was eaten out, right?
Right. Within at some point of the night. Now that we knew there was a black bear hitting it, and all we had was pictures of one mature adult boar black bear. And we knew it was a boar from the photos. It was quite obvious the way he was built. And now that we knew that we had a bear, we were trying to get him to come back in. When we came back to sit and hunt that night, we didn't want to bring in more bait. And I don't like bringing in more bait on the last day or two that you're going to hunt.
It's a pain to scrape up.
Yeah, I don't want to clean up bait if I can help it. So if they can eat it all for me, I like to time it like that. Mm-hmm. And we timed it perfectly on 2 out of 3 spots this year that I had. We didn't have to clean up anything. They had cleaned it all out. So, and the other one that happened at was also a test bait. So we came in, but I wanted fresh scent, right? And so I brought in a little bit of nasty boar, put on a little stick, and I actually had... No, I did bring in something.
You brought in a cow's foot.
I brought in a cow's foot, just to have something as like a little chew toy for a distraction. And so I put some nasty boar on the cow hoof, and then wired that with the same trap and wire that I used on the beaver. Attached that to the tree just to give him something to toy with long enough to get a shot. That's all that was about. Just something to come in, sniff, take a few bites, try to chew on it, rip it off the tree, and while he's doing that, you shoot him. So it was one thing to carry out, or 2 of them. I think I brought in 2 of them.
Did you?
I'm sure I did, actually. Yeah, I had 2 of them in there. So I brought in my 5-gallon bucket, my garbage bucket, and
I've been doing the same thing in my baits. I have a bucket of scent.
Yep.
Keeps it off of everything
And
else.
it's easy to carry out, too. Like, if you don't have a lot of bait left to clean up, it's just nice to carry out on a pack frame.
Yep.
So brought in the cow's feet, tied those up. That way I have something to carry them out in the bucket, which is what we did. That was the extent of the cleanup, which is awesome. And sat down after we did all that, and then we also brought in, I had just been to the archery shop, I think that day.
The day before.
That we left.
Yeah, the day we left.
To head to camp. I think it was that afternoon.
because I got off later.
I got off a little bit early that day.
Yep.
That's right. And so I went to the archery shop, and I bought one more bottle of scent lure, and it was the proprietary Screaming Eagle scent from Beta 907, which is a very pungent smell.
Yeah, but
And
not like stinky feet.
And it's different. It's different. For those of you that know or are familiar with the flavor of Big Red cinnamon gum, that's what it reminds me of. Mm-hmm. It's a heavy
or
cinnamon
hot tamales.
Smell. Yeah. Yeah. Or fireballs, the old hard candy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Very strong.
There's a theme here. It's cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Yeah.
Very strong cinnamon candy.
Yeah.
Smelling, sweet cinnamon.
It's like a cinnamon vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And it's new this year. I'd never used it before, obviously.
It's called Hot Sticks.
That's right. I couldn't remember what they had called it. I was trying to think of it. So we brought that in, kind of sprayed that around just the immediate area of the bait site, just to freshen up the smell, right? And we sat down about 6 o'clock. I texted my wife, said, hey, there's a bear here. We're not going to hunt the other bait.
Same. I texted my wife that night.
Yep. We're set up at the new spot just so that my wife knew where we were, had something gone awry.
Nah, that would never happen.
Yeah. Usually doesn't happen. Especially not to 2 experienced bear hunters like ourselves.
Especially not more than one thing on one trip.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you already cooked your feet, so.
Exactly. Boiled my dogs.
So what else could go wrong? Well, we sat all night.
Yeah.
In our Crazy Creek chairs. You were reading your Tom Clancy novel.
As I always do.
I was crushing candies.
Mm-hmm.
Playing Candy Crush.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading a hunting book too, which, by the way, I'm saving the rest of for when I'm sheep hunting because I really like that book. Right. And we were snacking, goofing off, eating, whatever. I mean, we were being quiet, but it's...
But bear bait quiet.
Yeah. You don't have to be like, sitting in a whitetail stand quiet. Not anywhere close to that. So we're sitting there, chit-chatting back and forth. 10 o'clock comes, nothing. Midnight comes, nothing. About 2 o'clock in the morning, we heard a noise. About 60, maybe 80 yards away or so, off to our left, off in the spruce trees. Heard a fox bark.
Hold on. At like 10 o'clock.
That's
low.
Right. That's right.
I didn't hear it. That. I don't remember why. I was facing a different direction or something like that, and because you were facing that way, you heard a bear blow.
I did,
and I didn't hear it. And sometimes you hear a bear blow. That's the only thing you ever hear or see, and because usually they blow when they smell or something like that. Yeah. Smell you.
It's kind of an alarm type thing, right? Well, I was pretty confident that I had heard it. Mm-hmm. And then, you know how it goes. You don't hear anything else, and you kind of think, well, it could have been a bear that was just a little ways off. But, was I making things up? Did I fabricate that sound because I really want a bear to come in so much?
Right.
We're also sitting in a new spot. Could that just have been something else? A branch moving,
the longer
or a creek, right?
The time elapses between the time you were certain you heard something and not hearing anything else, you start to second guess it.
Yeah, exactly. So I heard what I thought was a at about 10 o'clock, and then promptly forgot about it by midnight. I thought, well, it must have been nothing, because, it's a black bear for Pete's sake. We haven't hunted this bait yet. There's no baits in this area. This thing is not going to know what's going on, because that's been our experience in this region in years past.
Right.
They just don't seem to care what you are, at least for the first couple of years. Once they figure it out, they're a little more in tune to what's going on. The black bears seem to give you more of a healthy distance as time goes on. The grizzly bears seem to give themselves up to a zip code of separation of distance in fear for their lives the more you've been there, which I have some ideas about for next year, how to fool them guys.
Have somebody sit in the barrel.
Well, we don't use barrels.
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe, well, anyway, I won't get into that.
Okay,
But I've cooked up some
yeah.
plans for the other bait to get the grizzly bears, possibly. So we sat there, like I said, heard the blow around 10 o'clock. It ticks on to like 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, you and I are still wide awake because, again, now we're on the schedule of nights.
Yeah.
We'd slept pretty much all day, eaten a full meal. We had even brought energy drinks.
In the bait.
To
yes.
the bait.
Yes.
To the bait. I had a white monster that I cracked while sitting in our little brush blind constructive area. You can crack a can super quietly if you know how to do it right. Yeah. So,
and I had one of my American flag patriotic eagle screams when you open it, which is when you're at the bear bait and you crack it and you hear the eagle scream, like even if you crack it silently.
It's a natural environment.
Yeah, but it's still a natural sound, so still super America. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Bears like freedom too. So about 2 o'clock in the morning, we heard a fox bark. About 60 to 80 yards away, something like that. Immediate vicinity, but not in an area that we could see.
And a fox barking is one of those things that if you're not a fox hunter from royalty in England, when you hear it, you say, "What was that?" And you sit there going, "Man, what was that?"
It's such an abnormal thing for us to hear.
Well, because it wasn't just a single bark either. It was several multiple. Like yips and like screams. And finally I'm like, "Oh, a fox."
Yeah.
And it's a fox. And then that's all we heard for another hour. Didn't hear anything else.
Right. And so then we're sitting there thinking, why would a fox bark? Weird, whatever.
Yeah.
Then like an hour later we hear bones crunching. That's the best impression I've got. And then we started hypothesizing about that. Like, well, I wonder if the bear drug that beaver off and stashed it over there in the brush where he felt safer.
Which bears do a lot.
Yeah, they do that all the time. Because the first thing he did was grab that beaver and take it off.
Yeah.
And then he came back like an hour later and ate the dog food. Or started eating the dog food. So then we thought, all right, well, this fox found the beaver.
Yeah.
And it's munching on some beaver bones, whatever's left from the black bear, feasting on it.
At this point, I think we were both pretty convinced he'd eaten out and left. Because we'd been sitting there a long time.
Right. We've been sitting there from 6 o'clock to like, at this point, it's like 2:30-ish, going on 3 o'clock. And we're thinking, all right, well, the fox is over there eating a beaver carcass. My mind went to two scenarios. I thought, and I expressed this to you, I said, either the fox just found it, and he's a moron, and he's advertising that he just found something to eat, and something's going to come try to take it from him. Or the fox got run off by something.
Right.
He was already there.
Interrupted, something scared him. Well, because we heard the fox bark and yip a few times. Right. And then a while later, we heard it like just sound off, like it sounded like somebody screaming.
It was very strange.
Yeah, and it was like more of a it was a fox distress. Like if you played a Fox Pro Fox Distress, it sounded exactly like that.
Yeah. So then we thought, well, maybe the black bear just showed up or came back if he left at 10 and smelled us and woofed and left, and then now he's back, and instead of coming in to us,
he's over there munching on his carcass.
He's over there chomping on beaver bones.
He has no way of knowing there's more food over here.
Right. He doesn't know that there's more bait there. Yeah. And maybe he smelled us earlier, and so he's timid, which didn't quite add up.
Yeah, so we were both, I think, still kind of convinced, it's a fox, whatever.
Yeah.
We both thought we heard stuff, but then once again, didn't
we could hear bones crunching either way.
Yeah, but but a bear doesn't show up, and you kind of...
Yeah. So we had been convinced of, all right, well, if it was a bear, laying over there, less than 100 yards away, it would certainly smell the nasty boar and come a-running.
And smell us, who haven't showered for 2 days, except for my feet. My feet were clean.
Well, you had hosed us both down with your anti-scent spray.
Oh, I had done that, although that's not very... I mean, it's a good thought.
In name only, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So
Thermocel's
now we're
going.
ticking on to like 3:45, and I looked over at you and I said, "Dude, I think 4 o'clock is it, man." Because the last time he was here was 3 a.m.
And you were getting tired.
I was starting to crash. Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point, at about 3:30, we hadn't heard bones crunching for about 20, 30 minutes, and I was reading my book, and my eyes just closed, and I kind of jerked awake, and I thought, all right, well, obviously, it's about time to be done here. The sun's already back up. It's about to start getting warm out again. And I said to you, all right, at 4 o'clock, let's just put a pin in it and we'll just leave.
Right.
And we'll come back in here at like 5 o'clock tonight in 12 hours or so. And we'll see if he's come back today some point to come back in and check it out again.
We'll sit another 10 hours.
Yeah, and we'll hunt again tomorrow night. Because we both really wanted to get this black bear.
Yeah.
So
you say that it's 4 o'clock.
Yep.
We both, time to clean up. So you're doing your thing kind of here. Because we're on this hillside sitting on the ground, what happens when you're like that is stuff kind of just gets spread everywhere around you because you can just set it down wherever you want and you can keep things quiet that way. You just reach for what you need.
Yep, you're just sitting on the ground.
It's really nice until you have to pick it all up. Anyway, so I had taken the arrow off my string, put it back in the quiver, set the bow up on the hill behind me where it was out of the way of my pack and stuff, so I can start shoving stuff in my pack, which I am in the process of doing. When I hear from you, there he is.
I had just stood up.
Or there's a bear.
Right.
And I hear that, and I turn around. Now you detail, and I'll jump back in.
So 1 minute before that, right as I said, all right, we're going to be done, as you were taking the arrow off of your string, I stood up in place, looked around over the top of any little scrub brush so I could see a little bit more, thinking and hoping, like, maybe, I can see if he's over there just out of sight. No dice. You start making a little bit of noise, you put your bow down, leaves are rustling, now we're moving stuff around, and zippers are going. I, knelt back down on my haunches, turned towards you to my right, to look at something and grab something, turned back to my left, and there's a black bear down the hill, right at the brush line that we can see.
40 yards away?
He was down to the left.
Yeah.
He was right about 20 yards.
Okay.
Right at that line there in the willows. And when I saw him, he was, if the table is the ground, he was about this high off the ground. Maybe. Low, ears back, head low, in a full-on run.
Right. And that's when you just, like, you saw him, said, there's a bear. I turn around, and by the time I turn around, like, he was in that run.
He's standing, at that point, from here to...
The wall. Yeah, 10 feet away.
Yeah.
And I see the bear, and so and he's standing there looking at us.
He had...
Which is what all I experienced at this point was seeing a bear 10 feet away standing looking at us, like, oh, crap, he walked in, and he wonders what we are.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So he had bluff charged or something and stopped, and that's when I saw him right after that. So you're, about to flip a lid.
Well,
no, I don't mean about to flip a lid, but you're like wound up, ready for action.
Well, right, because now
you watched a bear run at us.
Right,
yeah,
right. I looked at him just in time to see the action happen.
Right.
I don't think he actually would have gone through with it.
No, there was a bunch of bushes in between. Yeah. He was just bluffing, trying to figure out what we were.
He was ripping in because he heard us making a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
And I guarantee...
Probably what he did to that fox earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guarantee that what he was doing is just running in to say, what is that at my food spot?
Right.
Get out. Like it's another bear or something.
Who are you guys? What are you? He'd never seen a human before.
And right as I saw him, from the time it took him to get from there to us in a full, flat-out run, was barely enough time for me to reach down on the ground right next to me and pick up my pistol and point it at him. Mm-hmm. Had he actually followed through with the charge, and gotten from here to the camera away, I would have shot him with a pistol because that's just too close.
Yep.
And that happens sometimes. I haven't had to do it. You haven't had to do it, but it's always kind of in the back of your mind.
Mm-hmm. And that's why we carry pistols.
Right.
It's as that close, quick when you don't have a rifle.
Yeah, I need to get a round off right now.
And so
it doesn't matter what you're shooting. It could be a 9mm. Just hit it. So I grabbed my pistol, and as soon as I started moving and he realized, and then you turned and looked at him and you grabbed your bow, as soon as he saw all that movement, he immediately stopped and turned perpendicular to us.
Yeah, when I turn, he's looking right at us 10 feet away. And so for my first action, I draw my pistol, and he turns. So I set my pistol on the ground, and I turn around where I can't see him at all, but I'm just like, well, Dalton's got him.
Yep.
I grab my bow, I knock an arrow, I turn around, he's walking up alongside us like...
And he's no more than 15 feet away.
Yeah. And he walks up, and he kind of gets a little more distance as he walks around us to where he's maybe 10 yards.
Yeah, and the whole time he's just looking at us,
up on the hill. And so I just say, I'm going to stand up. So I stand up, and I draw, and I'm just following him like this. And at this point, I think I turned the camera on right as he started to go up the hill.
Yeah.
And we have most of this at this point now, from this point, when I stand up and pull my bow back on video.
At that point, he was super close, and my thought was perfect time for Mo to shoot him because he's broadside. So I kept trying to stop him. So I was trying to talk to him. I was, hey, wait, hey, just trying to get him to stop and just look at us. Yeah. And he just never stopped moving at that point.
Well, he did at one point, but he's behind bushes. And so I'm just following him, drawing just all the way up and around, and he stops and he turns around, goes back down past us, all the way down to the bait, walks over, and goes to start eating.
And then he gets over to the bait, looks at the cow's feet, sniffs the nasty boar, and turns perfectly broadside and just gets all perked up.
Like, oh, look, food. And
hey.
Like he forgot about us.
Yeah. Just completely ignored us at that point.
Just crazy. And now I'd been drawn for a while, moving around and everything, and I'm still saying, like, well, there we go.
Yep.
And so I'm drawn. I put my top bead on him, which is
20.
Well, anyway, I put my top bead on him, and I probably punched the trigger. And I'd never seen an arrow do this before. It was a very stinking feeling of watching an arrow bounce off the back of a bear. Because when we were cutting him up, there's a slot that long right at his spine, where it just literally, I bounced it off his backbone.
Right off the skin.
Yeah. Just sliced right through his skin, and it just boing off into the trees, which we found that one.
We found it.
Yep. And anyhow, and he doesn't even like spin around. He just kind of like stops, walks away from the bait for a minute.
Well, he walked down towards the arrow.
Oh, that's right.
He took like a step down, sniffed, then walked back up.
Walked right back to the bait, same exact position. You, at this point, say...
Right. I had my phone up long since. After he had kind of cut off his little bluff ordeal, he turned, started to go back down the hill. I grabbed my phone, picked it up, and thinking, all right, I'm going to get this on video. Here we go. As soon as you shot him, the first shot bounced off his back, I dropped my phone thinking, oh, no.
Right.
Mo bumped his sight. Something's off.
Yeah.
I immediately dropped my phone. It's still recording. Luckily, you had the other camera going, and I'm reaching for my release. And I told you, and I think you can even hear it on your camera.
You can, yeah.
I said, Mo, if you're off, we need to kill this bear.
Yeah, I think
meaning, if you know that shot was perfect and your bow is that far off at 20 yards, I need to put an arrow in this
if you're off, I need to kill this bear. Those are the words you used. I remember it very distinctly because I am... Thankfully, I wasn't exhausted. Of course, you weren't at this point either. No. Adrenaline flowing. No. And I'm just like, I said, no, I know what I need to do. I knock another arrow, put my other next pin down on him perfectly. Perfect shot. He spin does the classic spin around, runs to the bushes. We hear him die. And it's just, I mean, you talk about.
Yeah.
I've never hunted on the ground. I've done it once or twice before, but I've never done it and had a bear come in. Usually I'm hunting on the ground because I have a bear came in.
At a bear bait.
At a bear bait, right. And I've never hunted on the ground at a bear bait, had a bear come in. And usually I'm doing it because it's end of season, a bear finally showed up on a new bait or something, and so I'm hunting it for a day or two at the end of season, and so I'm not taking the time to set up a tree stand, so the lawn chair, something like that. That was the whole ordeal of how all that came together. Even though I didn't see the bear run in, I didn't get that part of the adrenaline rush. Well, and of course, then I completely flubbed that first shot.
Yeah.
And although the redemption of being able to go from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, having made bad shots on animals before, not a lot, never on a bear. This is the first time I've ever messed up a shot on a bear, and lost animals, and not many, but a couple. And the sinking feeling and the days of just, man, what if I'd done this? What if I'd done that? I wonder if this, I wonder if that.
Right. It's bad in the moment. It's worse for the next 2 weeks.
Right. And so I had that immediate sinking feeling. Oh, now I have to live with this. Right. Like I can't, how do I, like,
after, like, of all the seasons to end with a botched scenario, this one has been the toughest one.
For me, no success last year. I was on your bear kill, but for my hunting for myself, once again, I had a flubbed season. I don't know if flubbed is the right word, but an uneventful season. I don't think I had anything hit the bait at all last year, and we'll talk about that maybe towards the end. But And then I execute this horrible shot. But then being able to, I know what's wrong, correct, and put an arrow exactly where it needs to go was...
Totally redeemed yourself. Been holding that one in for like 3 weeks now.
Good job. That was an exhilarating feeling.
Yeah. Now, what's unique about the scenario? You and I talked about this immediately after it happened. And I think one of the first things I said to you was, that's how it happens. Like, if that was an actual full-on committed to the bite charge.
Oh, right.
I have not had that happen before where I wasn't aware that something was about to happen. Every other time I've had a bluff charge or a full charge,
your eyes are on the bear. You're already keyed in.
You already know something's going on. Whether you hear it in the bushes or you hear a woof, something alerts you to what's going on.
Or you're walking, and so you're actively paying attention, looking for something to happen. Instead of thinking...
In this event...
You think there's not a bear in the area.
Yeah,
right?
We were done.
Yeah.
We were done. Mines were, hey, we're headed to the tent. Gonna go get some sleep, and then we're gonna hunt again tomorrow, or in this case 12 hours from now, later on today we'll be back here and we'll try again. My mind was not thinking there could still be a bear coming with all this noise going on, and neither one of us were irrationally pumped up on adrenaline in the moment at all. That's something that comes with experience, because the first black bear I ever had come into a bait where I got to see it myself was with you and our other friend that was with us when we were kids.
Talk about a 5-foot black bear, or 5'2" or whatever that was.
Yeah, it was typical for that
half
area.
The face was rubbed. It was chocolate, but yeah.
But when that bear came in and climbed up the tree stand and put its chin on the platform and looked up at us, I was thinking, holy smokes, there's a bear right there. I had my 44 pointed at its forehead, and you were telling me, don't you dare shoot that black bear. I'm going to kill it with my bow.
Yeah, just come on. He'll be fine. He'll look at us and he'll go back down. Yeah.
But me being a total greenhorn to bear hunting, and this is, 12 years ago? Something like that? It's been a long time.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
12 or 13 years ago now. And... Anyway, since then, we've been on a lot of different bear kills. And obviously, actually the next day after
bear kills and just time spent around bears.
Right.
Both separate and... you've been on a lot more bear kills than me because, you're a guide.
It ain't just that. Part of it's just been... I don't want to say good luck, but
You also didn't pause bear hunting for 3 years.
Exactly. Different situations, and I've gone nuts with it in some cases.
Don't have kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Anyway.
Just different scenarios. And that's not any kind of comparison that I was trying to draw there.
No, I know
but
that.
Both of us have spent a lot of time around bears for a long time now.
I saw my first bear. My first situation like that, and the bear didn't come in the tree stand, but my first situation like that where I saw a bear on the ground where I was there was when I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of get used to it.
I've been around bears.
Yeah. Behavioral tendencies and things like that. So it's not really a big deal. It becomes a big deal when I'm looking away and I look back and, oh, there's a bear. Oh, he's charging in towards us. And is he going to stop?
Right.
And all these things are going through your head. But we didn't get the shakes.
No. Well, you did after.
Afterwards.
Yeah, which you do. You do that.
That's me, though.
Yeah, yeah.
See, I don't know. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I feel the
like
same
that
way.
a lot.
I've never even that very first bear we saw together, hunted together. It was my second bear ever, and with our other buddy there. I remember we all put our hands together, and you guys were both.
Oh yeah.
And I'm the one who'd taken the shot, and I'm just rock steady.
Yeah.
Which at the time had very prideful teenager was just like, oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, no big deal, guys. Yeah. But in the moment is when it really matters.
Yeah.
You can feel as much of a high as you want after it happens. But the important part, and what I was going to say is after you killed your first black bear when we were kids, the next day I shot my first black bear, and I was with your dad. Right. I remember that like it was yesterday. I got the shakes before that bear even gave me a shot.
The old buck fever?
I was so shaky. I mean, I remember thinking, like, is my arrow going to fall off the string of my recurve? Like, I was shaking that bad. And I couldn't believe that I made a good shot and killed it. I mean, it ran 15 yards and tipped over in sight. That doesn't happen anymore.
Right, yeah.
And that's an important thing in the process of what happened there. When we were talking about it afterwards, and I said, that's how it happens. That kind of situation, when you're not paying attention, and both of us admittedly said, like, one of us should have kept an eye on that area all the time.
Yeah.
Because all night leading up to that, every couple of seconds, 30 seconds or a minute, I just turn my head and just do a 360 all around us. Make sure nothing's sneaking in behind us. You're sitting on the ground. You have to be a little more aware of what's going on. Not that you're going to get surprise attacked like some leopard in Africa.
Right.
They're not looking to eat your lunch, usually.
Yeah.
But you just keep an eye out. It's just good practice, right? It's still a bear. You still have to respect the possibility. We're not paranoid, but you don't have to be a moron about it either.
Correct.
So when that happened, my first thought was, aha.
Right. And at this point,
if this was just some hiker, if it was just me just hiking through the woods and this black bear charged from an angle off to the side and never made a sound like that, that's how it happens.
Yeah. Well, and at this point, although us being around a lot of bears, hiking through the woods, we're not saying, obviously, it could happen to anyone, but usually I'm alert enough that I'm going to see that bear. Right now, he may know I'm there long before I know he's there, but I'm going to see him before he's charging me. That's because when I'm moving through the woods, I'm very alert. But at this point, dead bear, we know the bear is dead. We've done our little happy dance on camera, right? And then you start, you've got the shakes, and you're going, man, and you're like, yeah, that's how it happens. And I still have no clue at this point that bear had bluff charged us.
Oh, I see.
Right. I'm sitting there going, that was awesome. And he just showed up, and then we were on the ground, and this was awesome. I've never had a rush quite like that. And then the whole, messing up the shot and then executing a perfect shot and all that. Now I was on that high, and and you had to like explain to me that that thing, no, he charged us, and
it could have just been that too. That it made more of a reaction for me because I saw the whole thing happen.
Right. Well, yeah.
Very easily could be that. Because the last good number of animals that I've shot for years, I haven't had that feeling in years. I just haven't. I get excited, but I don't get the shakes like that.
Yeah.
Not even close to that.
Well, yeah. Well, it's
that
enough
was the
of
first
a new
time
rush.
that's the first time that I've felt that in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't had the shakes on any. I don't know if I've ever had anything ever. It's a personality thing.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And it's fine. Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Once again, I'm not. It's not like a comparison thing.
No.
Yeah.
But you're right though. It is individual. Mm-hmm. It is. But I know guys that have been hunting for 50 years and they still get fired up and whoop and holler when they shoot an animal and they still get fired up. Yeah. You can't punch the smile off their face.
I get, well, of course, my fired up and some other people's fired up's a lot different.
Exactly.
For me, but I'll have a huge smile on my face. It's an awesome feeling, mm-hmm. right? It's the highest of highs.
Right.
Ted Nugent says he gets high killing whitetails, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't do drugs,
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Bear hunting's more expensive, but it's cleaner.
No. Now, what you got to try is bow hunting on cocaine. No, I'm just
Somebody's going to clip that and send it to the troopers.
Yeah, right. No. Okay.
For legal purposes, nothing we say on the Great Alaska Hunting Podcast can be used in legal prosecution.
It doesn't. No, obviously, I've never done that.
We do not condone.
In fact, people who know me, especially like at work, I'm the guy that gets made fun of for never having experienced pretty much any mind-altering substance. So,
caffeine.
Well, caffeine, but
Anyway.
the strongest buzz I ever got was when I accidentally sniffed a really strong bottle of hand sanitizer, and I'm not lying.
COVID. Anyway, well, we better get to the chase here. Cut to the end. I think we've gone on long enough.
Yeah.
But went and recovered the bear.
Yep.
It had crossed a little skiff creek and not gone very far. Typical bow range distance, probably in a straight line, no more than like 30, 40 yards. And
piece of cake.
Piled up. You made a good shot second time. And we commenced to skinning.
Mm-hmm.
We'd hung out for a while, grabbed the trail camera. I collected the cow's feet, picked them up, put them in the bucket, cleaned up all of our stuff, picked up all of our gear, and went and took some pictures and skinned them out. Got the chance to use the first black bear that I've had, my Alaska Blade Works Kodiak skinner on a black bear.
You let me use that a little bit? That thing
did
was
good.
Sweet. I like that. I like that profile a lot.
Yeah, it's a nice little skinner. And that was pretty much it. Then you and I went and checked that other bait that we've had for years, sat it again for a little while, had another grizzly bear woof across
we
the
had
swamp.
one that didn't even come in as close. We heard it moving, and once again, we thought it was going to come in, and then
it sounded like it was, but there was a huge thunderstorm and lightning front moving its way right towards us. And usually it's pretty typical for bears to try to move right before a big storm like that hits. We've had that happen many times over the years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always going to be the case, but it doesn't hurt to be there right before a big storm. We knew that was coming. Sat there, heard a grizzly bear messing around. It never came in. The wind was bad. Of course, story of the season for grizzly bears. Wind was bad. They smelled us. They left. Is what it is. So we got down, cleaned that one out. We had a little bit of bait left that we shoveled up and
then we made tracks because it was
packed out
getting
of there
nasty fast.
Right as we finished cleaning up the bait, I think you had just grabbed the bait permit and I had brought the camera down. Mm-hmm. It started raining because you and I were both saying, rain gear or no rain gear? Can we make it out of here back without rain gear? And then here comes the drops. I put on rain gear, and I had no sooner zipped up my jacket, and it was just pouring. And then, boom, lightning, like, I don't know, a mile or so away, right on top of the hill. It's like, great. So I walked with my bow and my rifle tucked underneath my arms. Then I realized when I got back to the truck, I thought, I've got a pack frame with 2 posts sticking up above my head.
Oh, yeah. No, I was looking at that.
That'd be fun.
Out, Well,
So, lightning safety is not a
safe.
consideration.
You're not making direct contact with the ground. You got good, thick rubber soles.
Yep. And I did.
I actually, when I was a kid, we had some people over to our house that had some friends of my parents that were telling us a story of they got struck by lightning while riding 4-wheelers.
Really?
Yeah, but we're totally fine.
Hmm.
And they had gone in. It was in the desert somewhere in the States, and there was a flash flood, and where they'd gone in and it was dry. They were crossing creeks and deep stuff on the way back, and saw, I think it was because they had, tourist ride. I don't remember a lot of the story. What I remember is her saying that she was riding, and she saw the lightning, or saw like an electrical,
really?
Like a spark go from her hand to the wheeler, like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and you hear stories like that, and then you hear of guys that, 2 hunters found dead, presumed struck by lightning.
Right.
How?
Rifle barrel sticking up in the air.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, we beat feet, got out of Dodge, and then we traveled to a different area, checked out a different test bait that we didn't have a stand at, nothing like that. We just had a little bit of bait and a camera, and had a little bit of activity there, and we'll be there next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually had one time I was out riding during bear season looking for new spots, and I was up above the tree line. And there was, just barely. There was like one tree up top and some trees down the sides of the hills. Yeah. And this is my dad's old bait that he didn't do this year. And I was running that trail back in there.
That's what I was thinking of.
And I'm riding, and it gets darker, and you see just the mass of clouds, and darker and darker. And I'm finally like, all right. And it starts to rain, and then I hear some thunder rolling. So I park my wheeler just a little ways away from the biggest tree up there on top, which was like 1.
Yeah.
And then I just shoved a bunch of my stuff I didn't want wet under the wheeler and put my rain gear on and ran down the hill and just sat squatted down there like, well, I'm away from the wheeler. Hopefully and
come back and their 4-wheeler's on fire.
Would have been better than me be on it and get struck, Yeah. Of course, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe I would have been fine. But anyway, it turned out to be fine. But it was like this is how this would happen. Mm-hmm. I'm the tallest thing on top of a mountain in a lightning storm on a steel machine.
If you've ever been struck by lightning, drop a comment.
Yeah, let us know.
Love to hear about that.
Might have to have you on the show.
Yeah, that'd be an electric podcast episode.
Oof.
That was a reach. Okay. Well, I think that'll put a bow on spring bear season.
Yeah. So to not leave you hanging, I mentioned something about freeze-dried meals. I'm going to wrap back to that in another episode.
Yeah. I think the next one that we do, we'll talk about sheep hunting stuff.
Yeah, it would fit that better.
Yep. So. We have some sheep hunting plans this year, a few different things going on, and some other hunts.
Do some pack dumps.
Yeah, we can talk about stuff like that for the gearheads out there that sympathize with us. Gear is not the most important part of a sheep hunt, but it's fun to be a nerd about.
But it is important.
As long as you properly balance it with everything else. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so if you like the Great Alaska Hunting Podcast, please leave us a positive written review on whatever platform you're listening to us on. For Spotify, that's a comment. For Apple and iTunes, that is a written review. Mm-hmm. Leave us a 5-star rating if you can on those platforms. That greatly helps us grow the show and put it in front of more people. Share it with a friend. If you're a social media person, put us on your story, whatever, stuff like that. If you like the show, send us a message. We have had some listeners here recently reach out. They have some stories that they'd be interested in sharing on the podcast. We've got them lined up down the road. We have kind of a backlog of several guests that we're kind of sitting on right now. And at some point we'll get to those in the future, but right now we're still trying to get through summer and then hunting season. We'll sprinkle in a few interviews in there somewhere, but it's not as high a priority when we have a lot of current stuff going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you have some stories that you might want to share on the podcast and you're an Alaskan with Alaska hunting stories or things to that nature, or if you're a non-resident and you have stories about hunting up here that you think would be fun for the show, send us a message on Instagram or Facebook. We have the Great Alaska Hunting Podcast social media pages there. You can drop a comment on our YouTube videos if you'd like to do that. Does YouTube have messages for our channel now as well?
I'll have to look into that. YouTube has
because I've gotten messages on YouTube.
Yeah,
recently.
YouTube has a messaging feature thing now.
Okay.
I don't know if I have to enable it. I haven't really looked into that a whole lot.
If you can't figure that out, just drop a comment.
If you see an option to do it and you send us one, we'll get it.
Yeah.
I'm on that pretty often.
If not, then just drop a comment on this podcast episode. We are trying to just keep the show about Alaska hunting.
Yep.
99.9% of the time. Yep. That's just what we're into, is what it is.
That's what the show's about.
Our rabbit trails can go different ways, but at the core of this podcast, that's what we're into.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you like the podcast, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy it. We'll see you on the next one. Keep an eye out for the YouTube videos showing the end of bear baiting season and Lowe's black bear. And until next time, tread lightly, but don't tread well.